Hello everyone and welcome back to some more Shining Song Starnova with me, Phantom Zwei. So, when we last left off, we figured out that Nimonu is kinda crazy. But we are heading towards the first live event for Starnova's girls. So let's see what happens. The day before our first live arrived, I entered the dance studio to perform one last check on the girls' performance. After a month of back-breaking work, the girls had finally coalesced into a unit. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. The 7 girls of Starnova counted together as they danced in sync to the beat. After a while, the dance choreography concluded. Aki came running up to me. Well, how is it? I can tell you guys have been practicing. You've come a long way since we began. Well, I wouldn't say we're any good right now. In fact, everything about this is pretty poor considering we're supposed to be performing on a professional level. But at least we can dance in sync without crashing into each other. Oh, by the way, I never decided anything about your team formation. Did you girls figure out who is going to be the center amongst yourselves? Well, this time we just decided on it based on who worked in the industry the longest. So Mariah's in the center, with me and Sasami in her wings. That seems reasonable. Huh. But that's obviously just for this time. After this, the competition's gonna get real. Aki's personality flipped. So hurry up and pick Aki-chan as the center, Oni-chan. As if sniffing that Aki were up to no good, the rest of the girls arrived. What's this about the center? I'm just telling the producer-san that the center of Starnova should obviously go to the one with the biggest motivation to win. What are you saying? That doesn't make a lick of sense. The center usually goes to the girl with the most experience, doesn't it? It's obvious the center has to be the best-looking girl on the team. Ah, then could that be me? Nimue proudly puffed up her chest. Put those away, you booby yandere monster. Tits like that have gone out of its style ages ago. But Natan thought the center led the dance, so the girl with the strongest body has to be the center. At last, the moment has come. The climactic center battle. Oh, Black Knight, let this humble one take the reins from here, for it is I who hold the biggest fan appeal. You all merely adopted the weeb, but I was born into it, molded by it. Shut up, Chuni-chan. Besides, both your dancing and singing are shit. Now, everyone. The center is for producer-san to decide. Even though we may be rivals, we're teammates before all that. So let's forget about all that and work together as friends. Acting like you're the leader already, all while disguising your words as well-intentioned niceties. The lamb's grown horns too, eh? Face it, you want to be the center just as much as any of us. No, I have no idea what you mean. Uh-huh. The girls backed me into a wall and stared me down. Girls. Oni-chan. Experience is what counts. Visual. Bounce. Fan appeal. Yahoo! Producer-san's in quite a pickle, eh? My eyes spun in bewilderment as the 7 girls looked to me with a combination of batting eyelashes, veiled threats, and unrealistic expectations. Ah, I just remembered. I have to confirm our live with the venue owner one last time. With that, I pushed the girls out of the way and power walked back to the office. He ran away. Ran away, eh? What a slippery one, dat Beacon. Whew. I barely managed to get out of that in one piece. I heard from a jaded female executive once that feminism could never win because women were too competitive against each other. And based on what I just saw, I was starting to believe it. A room full of girls all wanting to be number 1 was truly a scary thing. Center battle, huh? It was the biggest drama behind every idol group. Who got to be the number 1? The center naturally received the lion's share of media attention, as well as lucrative promotional deals with businesses of every stripe. So being the center brought both great wealth and fame. Naturally, the two things every idol craved. Indeed, Countless idol groups collapsed due to infighting and jealousy amongst the members. Oops, and I accidentally pushed the space key. While competition and rivalries were only expected, I had to make sure that certain boundaries were respected. For now, though, it seemed like we were getting ahead of ourselves. First, we had to become popular enough for any of that to matter. I leaned back in my chair. Center, huh? I wonder who I should pick. Water break. Okay. The end of the day arrived. I entered the dance floor and greeted the girls. The girls were doubled over, panting, exhausted after a long day of practice. The time's finally come, eh? Ah, producer-san, thank you for your work. The girls picked themselves up and gathered around me. How are things? Do you feel ready? Ready as we can be. It would have been nice if we had more time, but I guess we can't keep rubbing our tires on the road forever. Let's do this. It's too late to look back now. Excuse me. It's all gonna be the real thing from now on. Everyone. Even though it's just been 5 weeks since I became your producer, I feel as though we've been together for a lot longer. It may not have been a long time, but we've all gone through countless trials together. They say people count time not merely as the passage of hours, but as a measure of different experiences we've lived through. I don't know to what degree that holds true, but I definitely feel as if we've gone through a year's worth of experiences in this past month. At first, none of you expected anything to come out of this. We were all washed-up members of the idol industries, or industry even, or total newbies. We all had our doubts. We were cynical and jaded. But throughout the past 5 weeks, we've all come together to make this live a success. So let's remember, we are Starnova. Stars who may have faded out before, people might say that we're all cracked and battered up now, that we have no future in the idol industry. But stars never die. At the end of their lifespans, in a brilliant flash, they are reborn anew. And that's who we are. I'm not going to say, regardless of how things turn out, let's all be happy we lived our youths, or anything like that. No. Because we are going to be successful. This is merely the first step on our journey to become the greatest idol group in the country. There's only one outcome we'll be satisfied with. When Starnova's song shines so brilliantly that night becomes day even, and all other stars in the cosmos vanish into our light. We are Starnova. We are Starnova. This is just our beginning. In the end, I may have merely made a fool out of myself, shouting like that and talking so big, when I was merely the formerly unemployed producer of an unknown idol group. But a fire burned inside of me. A fire that told me that I had to become the greatest... the greatest idol producer of all time, even if everyone else sneered at my dreams. And that same fire burned in each and every one of the girls before me. We all had our festering doubts. Sometimes the pain of having failed to live up to our expectations was so great, we wanted to dig into our own chests and tear our hearts out. But that was only all the more reason to work harder. Even though we might look like fools, the only route where failure was certain was to have never tried at all. Today I cannot read, apparently. What are you doing, getting all fired up? I guess even the producer-san can act like a proper guy every now and then. Only every now and then, though, okay? Idiot. Don't get too full of yourself. Our armies stand ready, Black Knight. Let us ride on to the battle, where our destinies await. Producer-san really is quite a man, isn't he? Let's see if he can actually deliver before saying too much. Alright, let's rest up and stay safe. Tomorrow everyone needs to be in their top form. After changing back into their clothes, the girls walked out of the dance studio. Like last time, Numu's ride was waiting for her. Looks like I best be off. Same here. Gotta head to work. Me too. And I'll see you tomorrow, everyone. Bye-bye. Me? I've got some more work to do. Producer-san's always working so hard for us, isn't he? It's alright, I'm just doing my job. Besides, none of our dreams will come true if we're not willing to work for it. Producer-san's got a point. Alright. Maybe I can give Producer-san a back massage as an award after the live. Sasa-chan, you're being way too honest here. Or something. Then I'll see you tomorrow, Producer-san. Okay, see you tomorrow. After Sasami left, I returned to work in the office and worked until nighttime. Sasami crashed into her bed. I wonder if we'll finally be able to become idols now. Ever since I was a kid, I wanted to sing in front of other people. Maybe it was because my parents owned a karaoke bar, but whenever I grabbed the microphone and sang in front of other patrons, I would be so happy when everyone clapped for me. Of course, everyone only clapped because I was a little girl at the time, but ever since then I've wanted to become an idol. Alright, this time I won't fail. Together with Producer-san, I'll finally accomplish my dreams. Julie walked through the crowded streets. She smiled confidently, turning every set of male eyes in her direction as she walked by. At times, the attention she received from the opposite sex thanks to her looks was the only happiness she had in life. Ever since that man walked out on us, I've gotten in so much shit. That bastard, leaving Mama and I in this country. I was never that smart. Honestly, I don't really understand much of what I read in books. Everyone made fun of me for not being able to read kanji. But at least I can be confident in my looks. Some kids are just born smart, while some kids are born pretty. In the end, we've got to use the talents we're born with to make a living. Nimue arrived at her mansion. Her father was waiting for her in the dining room. Welcome back, Nimue. Father, I've returned home. Nimue, there's something I've always been meaning to tell you. Yes? Your mother. Please try to understand her. While she does not show it, she still loves you dearly. Truly? Father, I already know she's not my birth mother. Nimue, I am sorry. How could she ever love the daughter of another woman? Haruna is not a petty woman. She is intelligent and hard-working, having gone from merely a production assistant to president in a little over a decade. She's merely doing what she believes to be best for you. Eh? Mika carefully took out her most prized figurine. A Black Opera Sylvia Night Song figurine she had blown a year's worth of allowance to purchase. That was truly a bleak year, when she had to subsist only on convenience store ramen for a year to make ends meet. But the incredible detailing of the figurine, every single bolt accurately molded on Heaven's piston, the immaculate facial work, and the dynamic pose of Sylvia delivering the finishing blow in Season 2, Episode 24. An enormous grin appeared on Mika's face. Merely looking at the figurine made her year-long suffering worth it. Mika returned the figurine to the display case and gazed proudly at it. This time I, Hashimoto Mika, too, shall become a member of the night. Agents of the light, beware, for I shall break your tyranny. Our songs will echo through the night. Aki returned to her apartment. Her mother was passed out on the table, a bottle of sake in front of her. Natsuki finished typing an email for back home. She pressed the send button and put on her hard hat. The site manager gave her a hearty greeting. The site manager pulled out a stack of tickets for the live house from his coat. Mariah reported in for another night of work at the hostess bar. Looks like Baldy's back as usual. Better not get too drunk, though. Can't show up for the live smash, or else. Memories flashed by in her head. Wild drinking parties where Senpai poured pitchers of beer down the throats of new recruits. Girls slipping in pills and God knows what into drinks. Ugh. Just thinking about it makes me want to puke. This time, I can't let it end the same way. Starnova will be different. She grabbed a bottle of champagne and manned her station. About 4 shots in, Baldy wrapped his arm around Mariah. He's awfully touchy-feely today.
最近の女どもは全く自分の立場が分かっちゃいねえ。大日本帝国はどうした？政府もマスコミも西の犬になり下がったんじゃないのか？中国は王者のごとく東でやりたい放題。ロシアの精神が日に日に加速していく中、我が国の腰抜け政治家どもは何をしている？中国様に、韓国様に、アメリカ様にいつまでも尻尾を振っている。だから景気後退がこんなに深刻なんだ。だから我が国土が目の前で奪われているのだ。この国の男は愛国心を忘れたんだ。今や女どもに尻に敷かれてメソメソと部屋に隠れてる。まったく情けねえことだ。
Mariah pretended to nod in agreement and smiled.
まったくですわ。でも、だからお原様はこんなにもかっこいいんですね。
Baldy pulled out a cigar and put it into his mouth. After Mariah lit it, he belched in a thick cloud of smoke into her face.
せめていいものはちゃんと残しておくんだな。
Mariah's body froze when the middle-aged salaryman reached into her skirt and ran his hand between her legs.
おい。
大丈夫。損はさせねえぞ。
Shock turned to revulsion, which turned to fury.
私はそんな女じゃない。
In a burst of indignation, Mariah grabbed a glass of whiskey and splashed its contents onto the man's face.
何？この甘。
She spun around and ran into the storeroom as the man screamed for management at the top of his lungs. Mariah screwed open a bottle of vodka and chugged it down her throat. Shit-eaters. They can all go to hell. Fucking shit-eaters. Her boss burst into the storeroom, his face red with fury. You! What have you done? Mariah merely chugged the bottle in defiance. She stood and faced him while he was too stunned for words. Hey boss, I quit. Blowing this joint. Mariah tore her apron off and chucked it to the floor before storming out of the establishment. A group of 6 guys surrounded Julie all at once.
俺さ、寂しそうじゃん。俺らと遊んでいかない？俺たち6人でバンド組んでるんだよね。カラオケでもどう？
ごめんね、坊やたち。今晩は忙しいの。
She turned to leave, but realized that the 3 other guys had circled around behind her and cut off her escape.
どうしたんだよ。楽しんでいこうぜ。いいっていいって。デート代だったら俺らが全部おごるからさ。
だから安心しろ。
しつこい。
Suddenly, one of the boys grabbed her wrist.
ほら行こう。
何を。
And of course, everything bad starts happening at once. Natan stood beside a truck mounted crane as it raised a bundle of steel pipes to the 5th floor of the yet unfinished building. Unknown to her, someone had forgotten to perform the maintenance check on one of the 4 cables running from the pallet holding the pipes to the crane's main hook. The cable's connection to the pallet began to tear above her. Suddenly, the sharp sound of a steel cable snapping cracked through the night. Natan looked up, only to see the pallet lose its stability. The old site manager sprang into action and dived on top of Natan, exactly as the steel pipes tore loose from the pallet and rained down below. That's a serious accident. Nimu's eyes narrowed in disdain when Haruna entered the room.
ただいま。おかえりなさい、春菜さん。
おかえり、春菜。
ああ、そういえばネム、あなたにちょうどいい仕事があるの。私の同僚のアシスタントが結婚することになって、今月いっぱいで辞めるらしいから、代わりを探してるの。推薦してあげるわ。
ごめんなさい。でも結構です。
そう。なぜ分かってくれないの。あんたはもうアイドルとかやっていける年じゃないの。2、3年後飽きられて捨てられるような存在になりたいの。
Kojiro raised his hands.
まあまあ、ネムはもう大人なんだから、自分の将来くらい。
あなたはいつもそうやってこの子を甘やかす。
私はアイドルになりたい。理由はわからないけど、これは運命なの。
お黙りなさい。
Nimu's eyes turned cold.
春菜さんみたいな醜い人にアイドルの何がわかるのですか。
なんですって。
ネム。
こんなくだらないことをしている時間はありません。私はアイドルになります。あなたたちが何を言おうと、この気持ちは絶対に変わりません。
小娘が、あなたはこの世界の仕組みを全然理解していない。
Aki's mother gripped her daughter's shoulders.
そうかそうか。秋はまたアイドルになるのね。今度はうまくやっていける。そうでしょ。
前回は経験不足でバカな真似をして失敗したけど、今回はもう大丈夫。
ああ、ママは嬉しいわ、秋。あなたがまたアイドルになることをとても誇らしく思っているの。
This is just sad, seeing the mother use her child like that. But Aki clearly cares about her mother.
実はね、ママは今ちょっとトラブルに巻き込まれてるの。でもそれもあなたが復帰することで解決するわ。またお金をいっぱい家に持って帰るのよね。またこの家族を幸せにしてくれるんでしょ、アキ？
そのつもり。
またママを助けてくれるのね、アキ。あなたはずっとママのナンバーワンアイドルよ。
赤いはナンバーワン。
Mika's inside suddenly plunged.
どうして？
Fears began to grip her heart. The live would be in front of other people, wouldn't it? It's kind of the idea. Could she really sing and dance in front of hundreds of fans? Until recently, she had never even spoken to anyone outside of her family, much less performed in front of others. Like, she went to school, right? I mean, she had to talk to other people. Maybe she's not good at it, but maybe it was because of the others' enthusiasm that she had momentarily forgotten her fears. But Mika knew they were different from her. They were all pretty and good at socializing. They could read the mood and appeal to emotions, but Mika had an overwhelmingly plain body, and her hair was a disheveled mess all the time. Her head began to spin, and she had to sit down on the bed.
どうしてアイドルなんかになろうとしてるんだろう。
Her head had been in the clouds. She'd been looking away from the truth. Painful memories of her school days played. Pages upon pages of paper in her locker, all with the word shit otaku scrawled over them. All the popular girls snickering at her as she slumped by.
今さら人気者になりたいのでしょうか。あんな人たちに合わせる必要なんてない。リアルなんてくたばれ。
Mika pulled the blanket over herself.
私はただの一匹オタクだ。アイドルなんてなれこないよ。
She'd forgotten all this time. The truth she had always accepted. For if she accepted it, all she had to do was keep her head down and remain a shut-in. She was just a human failure. Sasami stood from her bed, suddenly wide awake. A sudden dark premonition had come over her. In her dreams, she was wandering through the empty halls of the Golden Calf offices. Hands reached out for her clothes, voices sneered at her. But what distressed her most was that in the dream, she didn't seem particularly fazed by the assault on her modesty. In fact, for some reason, she wanted the hands to tear off her clothes. The hallways turned to an enormous stage where hundreds of thousands of people were watching. Sasami had taken to the stage. She had no idea whether she was still clothed or not. I don't know if this is supposed to be like Sasami's actually like has a bit of an exhibitionist streak, or if it's just that she craves attention and that's supposed to be kind of like what this is implying. I don't know. Or if she just wants to be on stage so much she's willing to throw that away, if that's the implication. But she wanted everyone to see her naked. She wanted everyone to know how beautiful she was. What an off-putting dream. It was just a dream. I shouldn't think too much about it. But for some reason, her heart was pounding, and thoughts were racing through her head. I wonder if I'll always feel like this before every live. She looked out the window. The distant sound of an ambulance echoed through the city. I wonder how everyone else is doing. I kept typing away on my computer. I was really burning the midnight oil now. But I couldn't afford to rest, not when everyone else was giving their all. Suddenly, my computer stopped responding. I clicked the mouse a few times and tapped the keyboard. No feedback. I threw my hands into the air. Shit! I couldn't believe it. My computer froze! I think that his problem is probably the least troubling of the lot, but that would be frustrating. Alright, so the day of the live, I believe. It was finally the day of the live. Despite having stayed late to work, I practically jumped out of my futon when the alarm went off. My body was on high alert. Today was the day. I rushed to the office, my heart already pounding. Morning, producer-san. As expected of our busybody faux lolly, Aki had beaten me to the office. Good morning. Ready for the big day? Of course I am. I don't know about the others, though. It's still early. They should be here in a moment. Just as I said that, the door opened.
Producer?
Oh, good morning. Good morning. Listen to this, producer-san. You wouldn't believe what happened last night. I got hassled by these super annoying guys. There were like 8 of them, all surrounding me. Oi, that sounds shady as hell. You think they could have been Yakuza? Well, they just seemed like garden variety losers to me. But it was annoying as hell to get away from them. They kept following me for at least 10 minutes. It's just because Julie dresses like a super bitch that she attracts that kind of attention. Shut your brat trap, shit loli. I'm glad you managed to get away from them. Remember, you're an idol now, so you need to be more careful of guys trying to pick you up on the streets. Just one suggestive photo is all it takes to get the rumor mill started. Excuse me. The paparazzi's out to sell gossip, not report the truth. So that's what you're worried about? Alright, I hear you. Sasami walked through the door. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. It's a bright and sunny day today, isn't it? I hope that makes a lot of people come to the live. The three girls sat down on the sofa and talked amongst themselves. So far so good, but where were the other 4 girls? I looked at the clock. It was now 8 a.m. I wonder why they were running late. Just then, Nimue walked through the door. I apologize for my tardy appearance, Producer-san. Don't worry, not everyone's here yet anyways. Did something happen? Well, just the usual family argument. Please do not worry too much, Producer-san. Surely these sorts of disagreements occur in every family. In any matter, my parents have permitted me to participate in the live, so there shall be no further complications. Alright. But where were the others? Ah, by the way. Nimue opened the door again, revealing a white strand of hair hiding beyond the edge of the doorframe. Mika-chan, I found you! Nika pulled her head back and attempted to make a run for it. Nimue grabbed a hold of her and plopped her down into the office. Mika crumbled to all fours and crawled behind the sofa, her head buried in her hands. Mika, what's the matter? As I expected, or suspected, being an idol in front of a live audience is too big a task for someone like myself. The darkness is where I belong. Specifically, the cozy darkness of an 8-tatami apartment with the curtains firmly shut. Producer-san, this is beyond my abilities. I am sorry, but a human failure such as myself cannot be expected to sing and dance like an idol. In truth, I was just a human failure all this time. Oi, Mika, it's totally normal to get nervous before a live. Get a hold of yourself. I knelt down and tried to coax Mika to returning to normal. Mika, you've practiced hard for this. Besides, a human failure would never have even managed to come this far. Mika's eyes welled up with tears as she looked at me. She crawled into my lap and bawled into my chest. Mika-chan. I awkwardly patted the back of her head. Aki knelt down and gripped Mika's shoulders. The door slammed open, interrupting the girl's dramatic pep talk. Mariah swaggered in, barely keeping her balance. I stood in shock at her messy appearance. Her hair was a wild mess, and her clothes were almost dangling off of her. Mariah!
Shit!
Mariah lost her balance and swayed into a whiteboard. Forget that. How are you planning to dance in that condition? Besides, you look like you spent the night under a bridge.
うるさいわね。こんな状態でのライブは初めてじゃないって。あんたは青臭いね。いつものことよ。水持ってきて。すぐ治るから。
Sasami ran into the break room and prepared a jug of water as the rest of the girls murmured. So far, we had Mika trembling on the floor, and Mariah leaning against a whiteboard in a drunken stupor. Oh shit. And on top of that, were we still missing someone? I reached for my cell to check what was going on. I saw a message from Natan. Sorry, P-kun. I'm at the hospital right now. Got into an accident at work. What? My eyes widened in shock, and I pressed my cell against my face to double-check that I was reading her message right. Everyone! Natan's been hurt in an accident. I'm going to the hospital to check on the situation. Me too!
マジで?
You think we're just gonna sit here after telling us that? Come on, let's go!
やっべ!
Yeah! The 7 of us rushed into the hospital, Mariah still looking like a woman of profession better left unmentioned. We went up to the reception desk and found the ward where Natan had been admitted. In a panic, all of us packed into the elevator and marched through the halls of the hospital, our hearts pounding. Natan was always so cheerful. She was without a doubt the mood maker of the team, and the most energetic out of the girls. What if something terrible had happened to her? What if... Producer-san. I clenched my jaw despite the overwhelming fear in my heart. I was everyone's producer. No matter what happened, I had to be the bastion the girls could rely on. We arrived at Natan's room. With a deep breath, I opened the door, my blood pounding. A row of beds extended through the room, and in one of the beds was... Oh no! Natan! We saw a figure wrapped from head to toe in a thick white cast. Natan! Sasami collapsed by the bedside, tears running from her eyes. What could possibly have happened? How did things turn out this way? Mika's eyes lost focus, and she crumpled to her knees, knocked out cold from shock. She was always so happy for something like this to happen. Eh? Well, butter my butt! What in tarnations is going on here? We were supposed to have our live today, but she just had to die before she could accomplish her dreams. Dead? Who's dead? Natan's ghost? As if, you moron! It's obvious Natan's still alive. Besides, if she was in a body cast, how the hell would she have sent the message to the producer?
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on here. I rubbed my hand on my brow. Ah, what a mess. Alright, girls, let's, get out of here. We're disturbing the other patients. We returned to the hallway. How are you feeling, Natan?
Yeah.
There was a bit of a mishap at the construction site last night, but fortunately no one was hurt too bad. I just scraped my knees a bit, that's all. Sure enough, Natan's knees were wrapped in bandages. But don't worry. I ain't broken nothing, so I can dance fine. And the bandages will be covered up with the thigh highs anyway, so no one will even notice. Are you sure you're okay? How deep is the injury? I'm fine. Just a little playground scrape. Not gonna be a bother. Thank goodness Natan's safe. It would have been a big deal if you hurt yourself before the live. Be careful. Julie slapped Mika's cheeks until she jerked back awake. Oi, wake up. Natan's fine. Natan.
Yahoo!
I'm right here. The dark specter of our fallen comrade has materialized. Like I said, Natan doesn't have a ghost. I need water. The crisis averted, Mariah was now bent over, the color of paper. Cold beads of sweat began to drip down her temple. My, look at the time! Upon Nimu's words, I suddenly realized it was almost past noon. We're gonna be late for dress rehearsal! Come on, everyone, let's go! Alright, onwards! Hey guys, wait! No time, we can't miss our first live! But... Mika-chan, let's go! Sasami grabbed Mika's hand and pulled her away before Mika could protest. The rest of us took off for the live house as well. In all my time as a producer, I never met a more unreliable group of talents. But they were my girls. I just had to deal with it. This was just my life now. We somehow managed to arrive at the live house in time for the rehearsal. I'd already gotten everything delivered here the other day. The girls quickly donned their uniforms and did their makeup. Can't believe it. Ugh, your hair's a mess. Julie shook her head as she straightened Mariah's hair with an iron. She leaned into Mariah's neck and gave it a sniff.
Shit.
Smells like shit. Mariah was hunched forward, barely clinging onto the remaining strands of her consciousness. Are you really going to be able to perform like this? Shut up. Don't underestimate an idol. Famous last words. Sasami burst into the room, bearing an armful of water bottles. Here. Thanks. Mariah grabbed a water and chugged it down. This is gonna get worse before it gets better. Then why the hell did you drink so much the day before the live? Could be helped. Oh, she's voice acting this.
ゴミみたいな人生はごめんだ。いつまでも他人にヘラヘラして尻まで触られるのはよ。もうやだ。やってやるよ、アイドル。私は絶対に。
Mariah suddenly gripped her mouth. Everyone backed away as Mariah's chest heaved. Mariah gulped her vomit down, her teeth clenched, sweat pouring down her face.
絶対にアイドルになるんだから、死んでも。うわ
ゲロを飲み込むシーンがなければもっとかっこよく見えたのにね。
She's got a point.
黙れ、クソロリ。
We somehow managed to get through the rehearsals. Now it was time for the real thing. We were singing 2 songs, a cover and our debut song. By pro standards, 2 songs were nothing, hardly even a mini live. But I looked over to the girls. Sasami stood over the others with worry. Mariah was in her usual sour mood, the alcohol just beginning to wear off. Mika was kneeling on the floor, her eyes clenched shut, and rubbing her palms together high in the air, as if praying to the idol gods for mercy. Natan looked completely oblivious to the other's stress, and happily chomped down on a yakisoba bread. Nimue had her usual ditzy smile. We could all feel the dangerous aura lurking below. Julie had nothing but a confident smirk, but I could tell her lips were trembling. Aki merely waited for the moment the curtains raised, her arms crossed and eyes closed. Everyone, it's time! Shall we do a cheer? The girls gathered together into a star, their arms around each other's shoulders. The curtains raised. Ah! Sasami's eyes widened. The live house was packed with audience members. Hundreds of glow sticks waved at her. Everyone, let's go! I watched backstage as the girls performed the first song. The venue owner was pleased to report that all the tickets had sold out, although we still didn't know how much of it was our doing. But at least we had that initial victory. Now it all came down to the girls. Julie, Mariah, and Sasami finished their routine in the front row, and spun backwards as Aki, Nimue, Mika, and Natan rotated forward. Mika's head was spinning. Was the music this loud during the rehearsal? And there were so many people! She rotated too far and collided into Nimue. Just then, Nimue wrapped her arms around Mika and leaned forward, while stuffing Mika's face into her boobs. Oh my. The crowd went wild as Mika's small, innocent face was devoured by Nimue's breasts. Nice save, Nimue. Mika and Nimue split apart as Aki and Natan fell back and were replaced by Mariah. Yeah. Ogawa Kyosuke rubbed his eyes as the girls danced on stage. He shook his companion by the shoulders and pointed.
おい、そこにいるのはクエサーの山本マリアじゃ。あれから2年も経ってなんでこんなところに。それに柏木秋じゃ。14歳の時以来じゃ。
まさか再デビュー。そしたらもう合法でござるよ。
おいおい、それくらいにしておけ。
Kyosuke raised both of his glow sticks, and bellowed.
とにかく我々の応援を見せないといけないのでござる。
マリア！
アキちゃん、お兄ちゃんは忘れないでござるよ。
Sorry about that. Didn't mute my phone, apparently. Alright. The girls panted as the first song ended. The warm-up song is over. Now, it's time for our debut. Mariah straightened up and smiled for the audience. The next song will be Starnova's debut song. Even though we're not perfect, please cheer for us as we dance our hearts out. But inside, Mariah was doing everything in her power not to double over in agony. After just one song, every part of her body was burning in exhaustion. Ugh, guess this means I've gotten old. It used to be I could drink all I want and be fine the next day. But now... Meanwhile, Natan waved to the audience from the far corner. But her legs were trembling. Natan, are you alright? Yeah, the sweat's just making it sting a little, that's all. The first notes of their debut song began to play. The girls closed their eyes. This was the story of their beginning. Injured, flawed, scared. Everyone, be strong.
頑張れ！
いつまでもファンでござるよ。
Everyone's shouting at me. Is it because I'm no good? Do they want me to get off stage? That's probably what everyone's thinking. Words repeated in Mika's head. Shit, otaku. Human failure. Disappointment. What am I doing? I should never have left my home. I'll just get hurt in the outside world. I'll never be a pretty idol. But then Mika remembered something. Anyways, remember that your teammates are working alongside you, and I'm still here as your producer. Everyone here is part of this industry. It's nice working with people who all share a common dream, so there's no need to be a loner. I see. Everyone here shares my dreams. Everyone here loves anime. Everyone's here to take a break from reality. Everyone loves idols. I can't give up again. I don't want to be a human failure anymore. Rejoice, my minions, for the black song shall echo eternal. Look at those pigs squeal for my body. Hoo-hoo-hoo, let's give them a show to remember. But doubts ate through Julie's confidence. In reality, she wanted these to see guys stare at her to avoid realizing the truth. No man was actually interested in her. For what did the flesh matter? Beauty was nothing more than a commodity in both the entertainment and dating market. And no matter how confident Julie was in her appearance, beauty was something she did not have a monopoly over. Try as she did, there would always be someone else better to take men away. Pigs. Whatever. I know what's inside of me is shit rotten. I don't give a damn. She was going to be abandoned. Ever since she was a child, she was always abandoned by men, starting with the first man she laid eyes upon being born. That's not true. Guys can't get enough of me. I'll never be abandoned again. But did any of them love her? Or did they merely lust after her looks? That's... Suddenly, Julie remembered what happened that night. Just kidding. Relax, producer-san. It's just a little off-the-record fun. As long as everything stays off the record, what's the problem? People do all sorts of stuff in the dark. They need a release, you know. Why drag that stuff out into the public when it can all disappear with the night? He's still here for me, isn't he? That is kind of his job, though. Just saying. And what a bizarre thing to be thinking about when you're performing at your first live. It's your daddy issues, essentially. That cherry boy. He's not going to abandon me, is he? Of course not. He promised me he would make me into an idol to the very end. Producer-san, he'll always be by my side. I'm not gonna stop, everyone! I wonder if Haruna-san will yell at me again tonight. What if she uses her connection to harm my teammates? What if she ruins Producer-san's reputation? I won't let that happen. Darkness began to bubble in Nimu's chest. Of course I won't let that happen. I'm going to be the prettiest idol in the world. I'll get rid of anyone who stands in my way. Screw that woman! Trying to tell me what to do, when she never even gave birth to me. She's just angry at my existence. Every time she looks at me, she's reminded that she failed as a woman. Well, you know, otaku-oriented entertainment used to be taboo in the past, but now it's mostly accepted as part of the entertainment industry. As a leading figure in that sector, shouldn't your mother know all the career opportunities opened up by becoming a successful idol? Even after a top idol's retirement, they go on to become well-known television personalities, or join management roles themselves. I'm sure your mother must be aware of all this. In fact, with such an impressive familial connection inside the industry, you really could become a top idol. What reason does your mother have to prevent you from following your dreams? But Producer-san does have a point. Haruna-san wouldn't try to prevent me from becoming an idol unless she had a good reason. I mustn't. An idol doesn't think such hateful thoughts. What's come over me lately? I lose my temper so easily. Perhaps Haruna-san simply wishes to protect me. In any matter, a lady mustn't lose her composure so easily. Alright, let's beat back the negativity and bring out the sunshine. Nimu's shine! Natan's knees throbbed as she danced on stage. This is getting dangerous. I wanted to dance my heart out for the debut live, but at this rate... Mom, everyone, I'm sorry, but I'm not sure if Natan can do this. I just wanted to make all the villagers accept us again. But... Witness began to seep down Natan's thigh highs. Something like this is unfair. Why something like this gotta happen to me, when Natan always tries her best to be happy? Because if Natan don't smile, bad things will happen. Everyone will be worried. But how could I smile when it hurts like this? Yahoo! I'm ready for you, P-kun. Herk! What are you doing? Oh, P-kun, you said you'd find out which parts of Natan had the most appeal. Natan's face broke into a grin as soon as she recalled that incident. P-kun sure was flustered when he saw me naked. Wonder if that was the first time he's ever been with a naked girl. Yeah, wonder if I accidentally gave P-kun his most treasured memory. Alright, can't let him down today. A farmhand like Natan can't let a puny, scraped knee hold her down. Or else all the other villagers will laugh at her and say I became a pudgy city slicker. Natsuki heard a voice shout out for her. She saw the old site manager along with the other construction workers shouting for her in the audience. Everyone! They all came to cheer me on, despite what happened. Alright. Finally, I'm here again. It took so long to get back here. But this is still nothing. If I'm really gonna make Mommy happy, I'm gonna need a stage much, much, much bigger than this. But doubts began to fester in Aki's chest. She remembered a ruined apartment, shards of glass, toppled furniture, trash everywhere. I can't let Mama down again. No, or else Mama will... But being an idol's not a walk in the park either. There's always another girl chasing after you who will push you down just to get ahead. And no matter how hard you work, the grown-ups might not recognize your efforts. Suddenly, blind terror gripped Aki's heart. Not again. I don't want to be an idol if I have to do that again. There's no way I can be #1. It's impossible, impossible, impossible! You might not think it, but you're still young. There's still plenty of time for you to find your voice. Eh? What's with the unexpectedly helpful advice? Trying to act like you're my dad or something? No, I'm just trying to be your producer. No, this time things are different. I won't make the same mistakes as last time. Come on, get yourself together, you shit loli. I'm younger, prettier, and better than all the other girls. Of course I'm gonna be the shining star of Starnova. So there's no need to doubt myself. This time, I'll really be #1. Mariah's body ached and burned. No matter how much Mariah tried to breathe, her lungs screamed for more oxygen. She was hardly even singing, and her moves were slow and sluggish compared to her younger teammates. Her face burned with shame. She probably looked like a middle-aged woman trying to look cool amongst fresh teenagers to the audience members. I can't go on. As expected. My time's over, huh? I should have known. You don't even see idols in their mid-20s anymore. By then, they're already over the hill and long retired. I should have just accepted my defeat and died quietly somewhere, instead of raising a fuss and getting slaughtered like this. I guess this means it's over. And in the end, I couldn't even sing in the Tokyo Dome. So much for girlhood dreams. I really shouldn't have dropped out of middle school for this. If I hadn't done that, maybe I might have had a future. Mariah bitterly recalled all the scenes of her life leading up to this moment. It was nothing but fields of disappointments, humiliation, and fruitless work. I guess this is how idols die. My only desire is to see Starnova on the biggest stage in Japan. Shining stars powerful enough to turn night into day. Eh? Spoken like a true producer. Something like that's obviously impossible. No matter how you look at it, we're just a bunch of washed-up ex-idols or late-starting beginners. Nowadays, idol agencies manufacture girls before they even hit before they even hit puberty. You think we stand a chance against them? It's impossible. Even if we somehow do hit it big, it'll be moments before some young pretty face replaces us. Regardless, I'm someone who's not satisfied until I've done my very best. What's that fool producer saying? If I gave up before an idiot like him, how could I look myself in the mirror again? Yeah. Mariah pushed her dark memories away. The future was still unwritten. She couldn't let what had already happened prevent her from writing her own future. Tokyo Dome. One day, I'll still reach it. I'm a pro. I've got to lead the other girls on. Don't underestimate an idol. I'm not finished yet. Sasami's heart was pounding so hard her chest could burst. Producer-san, everyone, we're finally idols. We're singing, dancing, and everyone's cheering for us. I'm so happy we could all sing together like this. From now on, we'll always be the 7 girls of Starnova. But deep inside, she was afraid. For a moment, she had been an idol before. What if she found out, or what she'd found was not happiness, but bleak darkness? She'd always grown up in a loving family, oblivious to the evils lurking outside of her home. Men sought to use their power to intimidate and exploit others. Good people willingly averted their eyes from injustices playing out in front of them. It was as if she had walked out to the sea, where the ground suddenly plunged into a deep dark abyss, so black that it could pull her into its depths. The longer she closed her eyes to the evils of the world, the deeper she would one day fall into that hole. This is what it means to be an idol! Her words echoed into her head. So am I nothing but a thing to be sold? If my manager demands that I undress for a photo shoot, is that my only choice? These thoughts again. I'm not Shimazaki Sasami. I'm an idol. From the moment she signed on to become an idol, she had ceased to be a girl and had become an object. An object men worship by tossing money to it. An object of veneration, flawless, innocent, and pure. An object paraded by the managers of this new religion across the nation to collect dues from men far and wide. An object obviously had no need for a life aside from the one given to it by the managers. Doubts filled Sasami's heart. So this is what the world's really like. I really should have just given up back then. What's the point of continuing to live in such a messed up world? But another voice called out to her. You! What the hell are you doing? In her darkest hour, a lone man had dared to stand amongst the countless who remained complacent that day. And Sasami knew from that moment on, this man was different from the others. He would never treat her as an object. He would never witness an injustice occur before him and fail to act. What am I thinking? I'm just a coward. I need to be brave like Producer-san was that day. I can't give up just because of one bad experience. There's still good in this world. Producer-san, you're my hero.
みんな私たちをちゃんと見て私たち精一杯歌いますね
And so the 7 Broken Girls of Starnova debuted that night. The song ended. The audience broke into cheers and applause.
アキちゃん戻ってきてくれるって信じてたよ
若者めもうアキちゃんだけじゃないのじゃマリアだけでもないこれはそこにいるみんながじゃ見てみろよ兄弟この夜この舞台で我々は7人のスターたちの誕生を目撃したのじゃスターノバー
スターノバ
The audience broke into an impromptu chant. The girls looked amongst themselves and laughed.
これから始まるのさ
Amidst the celebration, I walked onto the stage.
プロデューサーさんなんでここに
I calmed the audience down. Everyone, I'm the producer of these girls. I'm pleased to make your acquaintance. Even though we're a far cry from what you would expect from professional idols, this is a unit I've grown especially fond over the past few weeks. I hope you all will become fond of them as well. With that said, I have an announcement to make.
お知らせそんなの聞いてないわよ何一体何なのまさか私たちは引退することになってピチピチのメンバーと交代とか
Poor Mariah.
バカ落ち着いて
She's so paranoid. Starting immediately, Starnova will perform weekly at this venue every Friday, with 2 showings at 6 p.m. and 8 p.m. The girls all gathered together and embraced each other.
ヤッホーこうなるのは分かってたよでもこれは序幕でしかないのいいこれからも死ぬほど頑張らないと我が軍の全勝である闇の歌は永遠と響き渡るだろう最初から大成功ですねすべてのプロデューサーさんのおかげです毎週ライブなんて当たり前よねアイドルなんだからね全然普通やった
The girls looked on in shock as Mariah's face scrunched together like a pug.
またアイドルになれる
なんで泣いてんの今はそういうところじゃないでしょ今日は私たちの最短なんだからノバーこうして私たちの復活のショーは幕を下ろしたアイドルとしての日々はそれよりもずっと長くずっと辛かった一瞬とはいえ私たちは夢へ向かって最初の一歩が踏み出せて本当に嬉しかったでもまだ終わっていない試練はいつも待ち構えている成功はさらなる困難を運んでくる名声と富には不幸がつきまとう私たちの物語が続く限り
All Chapter 2, Center Battle. Alright, and this is where the demo actually ended, right there. That was the end of the demo. So we are into blind new game territory here, as of this moment. But, that is where we're going to end today's episode, because it was really long! But I did want to power through what was left of what I'd played before, so... we will start with the new content tomorrow. I'm actually really excited. You know, it was a nice refresher, but I have been eagerly awaiting getting to the new stuff, so... Here's where it truly begins. Full-on blind. So, hope you guys are still enjoying Shining Song Starnova. Thank you very much for watching, as always, and I will see you all next time.